This is actual Kabbalah revelation in real time. 2 days ago, I was obsessed with Moses, Mem, Shin, Hey. I woke up with Moses on my mind. Last night, before I went to bed, I got out of the bed and I felt I was two people. In other words, it could be that I had two souls. You know, they call it the godly soul and the animal soul. I've also read over the years of astral projection, where you have an astral body and the physical body. Well, those two bodies were in me. What they're called is a whole other story. And what they're called by somebody else is different than what I'm calling them. And that's why this is Kabbalah in real time. Because I'm explicating a sensation that I had of this two-ness that I've talked about for years. Remember, I come from Libra, which is a two-ness. So maybe I have a destiny for that, you see. But the thing is that I had, for the first time in my life, the idea that I had two aspects within me, and that my astral body was actually watching me. So for that couple of seconds, I was outside myself, watching myself. Not much different than I'm doing right now. I'm filming myself doing my Kabbalah. I'm speaking and I'm seeing myself speak from the outside. And this may be the drive of why I've done all these videos. It's a separation of the two-ness that's within myself. That in itself is called Zelem, the astral body. You've never met me physically. You've seen my Zelem, my photograph, my picture. It's brought down, I think, now that I'm talking real. I don't know Hebrew that well. I think Zelem means photograph. You're seeing my photograph speak. It's a speaking photograph, a speaking image. This is Zelem in a certain sense. I'm projecting myself to myself back. Seeing myself from the outside when I watch my own videos. Or listen to them, hearing myself from the outside. Like something else speaking to me. And that's what I had last night. I saw myself from the outside, like a video. And my astral body was outside of myself. Now, that sounds weird and mystical, but that's what the whole month of Adar is. Adar 1, Rishon, and Adar Sheni. And that's what these days are. These 30 days of Adar, Rishon, first Adar. And they only occur every 7 years in a 19-year cycle. That 19-year cycle is 19 feminine. It's the gematria of the word Hava. Hey Vav, Het Vav Hey. That's the Hava is Eve, the wife of Adam. 19 is also the din of 45 name of Yud He Vav He, and 45 is the gematria of Adam. And so these are, I always wondered, now that Purim is over and there's Purim and this Purim Katan is over, and the relationship between Purim Katan and regular Purim, well, there's still these days in the month. Today, I'm talking, it's the 17th of Adar. We still have 13 days left in Adar. These are propitious days. These are days after the full moon, after the, of Adar Sheni, and this moon that we had this month. A tremendous amount of light. So what does all this mean? Let me bring it into Judaism, what I just said. There's plenty to say from what I just said in the first 5 minutes. Forever. About the two-ness of the self. And I'll get into that. But these days of Adar 1 and Adar 2. The intercalculated month says 30 days. The regular month has 29 days. Yet they're parallel months. I'll show you the 30th days later. Parallel months. That means that the 7th of Adar, which is Moses' birthday, in the 1st of Adar, has a parallel day in the 2nd Adar, which is Moses' birthday, death day, Yortzeit, the 7th Adar too. And the 14th of Adar has a parallel in the 14th of Adar. So every day has a parallel. In these 2 months, it's like Groundhog's Day. What's happened in one, it's going to happen in the next. The Groundhog Day film. It's going to happen in the next. There's parallels. And what's going to happen today, the 17th of Adar 1, is going to happen in the 17th of Adar 2. So what does that really mean? It's 30 days later. The real secret is 30 days with the Zelem. Remember, when you die, your Zelem is already left 30 days before. Your astral body has left 30 days before. Your shadow has left 30 days before, the Zel. So the two parts of you, the higher part has left 30 days before. When you die, you have to get buried right away because the Yehida, the part of you that's part of God, is open, has to be covered. But there's a part that left before, and that Zelem left before. What that Zelem is that the Nefesh Elokit, the godly soul? Or is the Mem the godly soul? I don't know the Kabbalah in real time, but it has to do with the Zelem. The Zelem. And so these parallel days. So make a note of what's happening today. Like February 22nd. It's going to happen on March 22nd. Make a note, the 25th of February. It's going to happen like March, or 30 days, whatever, because of the cuckoo February 28. But I was just thinking about February 28 with leap year 29. This month here is the same as the leap year in Judaism. But the only difference is in Judaism we get a month, and here we get in February 1 day. It's the same concept of leap year. This parallelism of the thing being left and knowing what's going to happen 30 days before. So let's extend this a little bit. I didn't do as much as I wanted to here on the Zelem, which I will for the next year. So these parallel days, it happened 30 days before, and each day in Adar 2 has the parallel from Adar 1, but there's 30 days in Adar 1. So there's an extra day because there's only 29 days in Adar 2. So that 30th day goes to Nisan. Nisan goes to Nisan. And it's the first day of the month which begins the year, the year of months, and Pesach. And in some, I remember years ago when I used to study Talmud, it's brought down sometimes that you stop your hummus on Nisan, on the first of Nisan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, first of Nisan. Well, then there's another Kabbalistic thing that happens on the first of Nisan, which again parallels the 30th of the first of the Adar 1, Adar Rishon. The Mishkan was inaugurated on the first day of the month of Nisan. The Mishkan was inaugurated. I forget the... Mishkan, 1060 or 390... Anyway, on the first 12 days of Nisan, the Nasi of each of the 12 tribes brought inaugural offerings as representative of his tribe. Each tribe corresponds to a month in the calendar. So during these first days, it's important for us to connect to the consciousness of each month. Why? Because each day of these 12 days corresponds to a month of the year and what's going to happen to you during the year. I didn't make that one up. This is known. What I'm making up is the previous. Each of the 12 tribes represent one of the months of the year. And what happens on the day of their offering, on the first 12 days of Nisan, before we get to Pesach, is what's going to happen to you for the next 12 months of the year. But the Hiddush that I'm bringing you, the innovation that I'm bringing you, is that the month of Adar Rishon, of the intercalculated year, has the exact parallel in the 30 days, 29 days of Nisan 2. You had an opportunity, you're zealot. Whatever happened to you here, you have an opportunity to know time beforehand. Know time, not N-O time, K-N-O-W time beforehand. What's happening to you, the getting hit on the head, you have no idea I've been getting hit on the head. What happened to me, I'm going to be able to handle it because the same thing's going to happen next month. And if I've got hit on the head, I'm either going to dodge it, get hit on the head again, or be able to handle it a little bit better. Because it is only repeating something I already know. It's already been played out. It's been played out in Adar 1. And it's going to, it happened in upper space in Adar 1, and it's going to be played out in physical space in Adar 2. Well, one of the things is, well, that's what the word zelem means to me. Zelem is a very, very deep concept because it is the astral body. And it contains zel, which is shadow, but zel is 120, which is the 120 years, that Moses lived, and I forget the other, Rabbi Akiva, and there's a third, because all of these three come from the three upper sephirot of Rod Lo. And in the three upper sephirot of Rod Lo, each of them is a mem, and so there's three mems up there. And each mem is 40, that's 120. So each of the three characters that live up there lived 120. And they were each one of each. Well, also, the word zelem was taken with a mem as a final letter, 600, and that's the energy of 600 that's so important here. The number 600, the root of the word Torah, things like that. A tet and a tov and a resh, or two shins, or zelem is 720, which is also yayin, yud final nun, and that yayin is what you're supposed to take on Purim, where you're not supposed to know the difference between Haman and Mordecai or whatever. Supposed to know not where you are, and that's because of the zelem too. And now here is another very deep issue. Whenever you get to something, this is an expression of why I'm a normative Jewish Kabbalist. I do everything through my Jewish perspective, through my neshama of Jewishness. All the great Kabbalists had a great respect for the Mishnah. So if you want to get into something here about the first and second of Adar, read the Megillah 6, Daf 6b, the Mishnah there. And it says there, Ein ben Adar Rishon le'Adar Hasheni. Ein ben, nothing between, nothing is different. Nothing between. Ein ben. Aleph Yud Nun, which is enough. Ein. Ein. That's the Ein of the Ein Sof. And then Ben. Bet Yud Nun. That means nothing between. The Ein is between the first and second. So you want to get the real depth? Just repeat the Mishnah. Ein bein Adar harishon la'Adar hasheni. Ein bein. Ein bein. Nothing between. Actually, when you say la'Adar hasheni, la'Adar has the same letters as Rod Lo, rearranged. Ein bein, just say ein bein. If you really want to know, just say ein. Ein. Ein bein Adar harishon la'Adar hasheni. Ein bein, the first Adar to the second Adar. Ein bein. Ein. You want to get into the ein? Recognize what I just said about the first and second Adars. And that the Adar 1 is the zelem for Adar 2. And the 30th of Adar corresponds to building of the Mishkan on the 1st of Nisan, and the start of the year. So not only does it have a parallel, the 30th of Adar, that special day that has no parallel in Adar 2, has the parallel of building the Mishkan on the 1st of Nisan. It brings you to the 1st of Nisan. And these 12 days of Nisan have parallels in the 12 months of the year. And that's to show you that Adar 1 brings it all into this next year. That one day, that like 29th day of February, that the normative calendar calls leap year, the Jewish calendar has the same thing as the 30th day of Adar 1, which has no parallel in Adar 2, and it brings it in as to Nisan 1, and all the things that happen on Nisan 1. The bringing of the Nazis, the 12 days thing, the 12 tribes, the start of the Mishkan. And offhand, I forget the gematria of the Mishkan, but the Mishkan in the normative gematria is 1060, which could be Aleph and Samek, 1,000 for Aleph, 60 for Samek is Ein Sof. And the reduction of the 1,000 to 1 is 60 and 1, and that's Ein. And that's if you repeat the Mishnah, Ein Bain. Nothing between. It's like having a nothing sandwich. There's nothing between Adar Rishon to Adar Sheni, Ela. But Adar sandwich, I'll have that movie 6 inches, easy pieces. I'll have a ham and cheese sandwich, please. Hold the cheese. So for this Purim sandwich, I'm going to have a cheese sandwich. Hold the cheese. and for a Pesach sandwich, I'll have a cheese sandwich. Hold the bread. That's the Pesach sandwich. You only get the in between, because there is no bread. And what do they throw that into? A Hillel. What they call it? Don't they call it a Hillel sandwich? A matzah and whatever. So as I started out with Zelem. So we get to the most important day of ever. The most important day of ever, the 30th day of Adar 1. Adar Rishon. And we're building to it. In microcosm, this is the opening to the Ein, to the Rod Lo, to the deepest aspects that can be ever reached. You have a two-ness, you have two souls, just like you have a left and right hand. You have a two-ness for sure. You have the godly soul and the animal soul. Okay? You have the body and the soul. The animal soul is basically the body. The animal soul is what they call the Yetzer Hara. this animal. So I still don't know. I remember this is just last night when I saw this myself. See? I saw myself from the outside. The outside looking in. And I felt these two components within me. So as I started this is an unfolding from my Zelem. And it has a whoosh that it's going to be recognizing things from my past. And that's normative. Because the Jew learns everything in the womb, learns the entire Torah in the womb. And then, when it comes out, the angel comes, hits it on the lip, and forgets it all. So we're only relearning anyway. Relearn the entire opus, the entire Akazic record was unfolded for us before, and we're just playing out the string in real time. But there's a depth. There's a depth in this time. And that's the sensation of being elevated in the spiritual worlds, while still within the body of this world. And this is all from the Zelem. So, some new material here. Seeing myself from the outside. Like watching this movie.